What's up, Sooner Nation? Welcome back to the Sooner Surge. Uh, Make sure you're a part of what's going on here at the Sooner Surge by clicking subscribe, by enabling your notifications, by giving us a rating. Tell us how we're doing. Drop the comments, the likes as you watch this video. Happy Monday to everybody. We're here today to talk about a position group that has uh, been very instrumental in the success the Sooners have had this year. Definite improvements made in this position group, and being led by probably an All-American this year in Danny Stutsman. This linebacker room, Jay, we can draw some comparisons here with some of the Sooner greats in the linebacker position, but what Stutsman and Kanak are doing this year is pretty remarkable, and they have a chance to really be the greatest duo at that position to ever don the Sooner uniform.
Well, I mean, I think the praise is this year has been really good. That's going to be yet to be determined on the greatest duo. I mean, there's been some great duos at OU, but what they've brought this year, specifically, I mean, I think about a play just the other day against TU. It was just a flare pass to the running back, and Kanak closed at an angle super fast, and the guy lost a yard on the screen pass, and it's stuff like that that just the athletic ability of Kanak. I think Kanak kind of goes a little bit unnoticed because Stutzman's been so stinking good. I mean, Stutzman's been crazy good, and Stutzman should have won Defensive Player of the Week again, and OU would have swept the awards there in the Big 12, but he didn't. But man, those two guys together, they have such a good chemistry, it seems like, and a good bond on and off the field. I think that helps there for when they are playing together. But you talk about a few things. You talked about the run game. This week is going to be huge for the linebackers because they run the ball really well. Cincinnati, I think, maybe average like 239 yards a game or something. So it's going to be very important for the linebackers to be filling the gaps and filling the runs fits and making tackles. And to me, that's probably the thing that they've done the best this year is the tackling. I mean, Stutzman missed one the other day. I think that was literally his first missed tackle of the year. And you're like, oh my gosh, he didn't get him. What happened? I mean, that's your initial thinking instead of, oh, he got him, because it just doesn't miss very often, and he hits you clean. That's the thing about it. He's hitting people clean this year. And Kanak in coverage has been pretty good, except for a few times when he blitzed and dropped back. But overall, those two guys, that duo has been very good.
Yeah, the athleticism that those two guys have is off the charts. It's definitely a strength of theirs, but you mentioned the physicality of Stutzman. Uh, I don't know what the weakness would be for these two guys. They don't really show much of a weakness. The fact that they don't have to come off the field in passing situations is important. They can stay on the field because they can cover. Even one of the plays you're talking about where Kanak showed blitz, dropped back, he nearly deflected the ball as he laid out for that. With right there shows athleticism. Most linebackers aren't even laying out for that. And the other thing is they're physical enough to bring pressure, to go up against some linemen who are blocking. So they offer a whole lot. And like you said, the bond between these two guys is very close knit. You can see it in the celebration with their ninja celebration. These guys love each other. They love playing with each other. And it has shown. And again, when you got two guys like this in the middle, I think Venables is uber excited about what this group can do. And you're right. Cincinnati is going to pose a different threat than what they've seen this year. They've been great at stopping the run. The defensive line has been very good at plugging the middle and allowing guys like Stutzman and Kanak to fill the gap. They haven't had many busts in coverage. They've obviously put a lot of work in the mental aspect of the game and watching film. So I think the sky's the limit for these guys. And you're right. Stutzman is going to be a guy that's going to be up for Big 12 Defensive Player of the Week every week. He just is because of the numbers he's putting up. And that does sometimes overshadow what Kanak is doing. But Kanak is playing great, had a couple of PIs, pass interferences, but he was there in coverage. He's not lost. He's there where he needs to be. And I'm excited about even guys like Kip Lewis and other guys that are getting in there. Kobe McKenzie are making their name known by how they're playing. But, Jay, where would you talk about guys? I mean, Travis Lewis was a goat. I mean, he is a dog there. When he was
He
there.
wasn't the GOAT. I mean, he was
No,
good.
I said not the goat. I said a goat. I think he's
Uh,
third on the team in tackles in history of
oh,
OU football.
he was good. I mean, to me though, when I think OU linebackers, the very first name that comes to mind is Brian Bosworth. Um, and then next, my era probably is why, but Rocky Calmus and Teddy Lehman, I think that duo is the best duo to play together, right there, in my opinion. And you also had Torrance Marshall with Calmus as well in 2000, which is really good unit. But you could name a bunch of guys. The Curtis Lofton, I believe he might have been a sophomore when Rufus was a senior, and that 2006 roster, those two guys were good together. Lofton was an All-American, I believe, but not till his senior year. He was a really good player. And then more recently, probably guys like Kenneth Murray. He was exceptional, I thought. Um, and Bolton's made a name in the NFL. He's made the NFL roster. I don't think he was kind of a late bloomer at OU. But to me, the difference is Kanak is so young still. All right, and Stutsman, even though it feels like the guy's been there 6 years, he's only a junior, and he hasn't redshirted, so he's only been there 3 years. So the youngness of them, they're one of the best right now, I think, because they are still young, and especially Kanak. So, I mean, who would you compare? Who would you compare these two guys to?
I, you mentioned a lot of guys. I think that every Sooner fan, when you're comparing a linebacker to someone else from the past, it's going to be Brian Bosworth. And the way these guys play, there's some Boz in them. Okay, there's that physicality nature. There's a little bit of just kind of the charisma and energy they play with is similar to something that Boz offered, from the entertainment aspect of it. Uh, Whether or not these guys spend years in the NFL, I would think they are going to be able to do that. That Curtis Lofton's had a great career. There's, as far as Rocky Calmus, I see a lot of Rocky Calmus in them, and Teddy Lehman, kind of a strength of that physicality and speed nature that these guys have. Only time is going to tell. But you go back to the game. You had the pick six from Stutsman.
That
You
looked
had
a lot like Calmus.
You had the first hit of the game was a Stutsman, just a clock that he just clocked the dude. We are going to see a whole lot from these two guys this year. And the more highlights that we see from them, we'll be able to compare them to guys from the past. But I think it's safe to say, Jay, that I don't know if we compare them to guys of the past. I think maybe they make a name known for themselves as maybe the best duo to possibly have played there at Owen Field. We'll see. I think time tells. Is Stutsman going to go pro? Are they going to be together again? Time will tell. But right now, Sooner fans, we need to embrace what is happening there at the University of Oklahoma in the linebacker room, because these two guys are special, and this linebacker core together is a special group. And it's one of the many reasons they're 3-0, and they're going to have a chance to have solidified one of the best defenses they've had in a long time, I think. So, Sooner fans, drop your comments. Where does this duo stack up? Who does Jaren Kanak and Danny Stutsman remind you of? This linebacker room in general with McKenzie, Lewis, and other guys that are going to be there. Talk to us. Drop your comments, your questions. Until next time, guys. Boomer.
Boomer.